Hey everyone. In this video, I want to cover ALN, the whole platform, what sales uses it for, how you might find it helpful, and then just overall how you can become comfortable with using the tool. So, first and foremost, ALN, which stands for Apartment Listings Network, is a database with all things multifamily. So they have in here new developments, existing properties, who manages them, sometimes who owns them, how many units they have, what are their amenities, price per square foot, et cetera, et cetera. So it's something that's very useful for all of our sales team members and some of our account managers as well. And so it'll be something that you use quite frequently here at Fetch. So right now, I've just logged into ALN, and I'll just show you right now. This is the Salesforce homepage. Over on the right-hand side, you have this section called Helpful Sales Links. Down near the bottom, there is a link for the ALN homepage. That will take you to the login screen. Once you log in, this is then going to be what you are faced with. It'll ask you if you want to log into Vendor Edge Plus or log into Compass. The main difference between the two is that Compass is nationwide, and so it's more of like an account-based, nationally centric tool, whereas Vendor Edge Plus really focuses on that market specifically. So I'll touch on both of them, but I just want to let you know up front the differences between the two. And you would think because one's national and one's market-based, why would you ever use the market-based one? But there are some cool features that are specific to Vendor Edge Plus that Compass does not have. So I'm going to log into Compass first, and we'll kind of walk through that. And it does make you log in twice for Compass. Not sure why, but that is how it is, at least as of today. So this is going to be your homepage once you're in Compass. It has this quick search feature at the top where you can search property names, contacts, management companies, etc. Or you have these sub tiles down here. So your contacts, properties, management companies, any new construction reports, and or owner information. I'll click on contacts first. This is the best way to search, in my opinion, contacts by management group. So it gives you the option here to search for someone's name, or you can search their company. So if you want to do like Lincoln Property Management Company, you can put in Lincoln. It does do fuzzy logic, so you don't have to type out exactly Lincoln Property Group. That being said, if you choose a word that might come up in multiple management companies, they will pop up. Like multiples will pop up. So be as specific as you need to be, but you don't need to 100% match. So you can put in the company name, and then you can start to filter by their category or title or persona, some people call it. So if I wanted to look up just regional managers for Lincoln, I would type in Lincoln, and then I would do this area supervisor, regional manager. I would check that box. If I wanted to do regionals and on-site managers, I could check that along with the property manager. I'm going to uncheck this one for demo purposes. And then number of properties. So this is going to filter for how many properties they oversee. So if you wanted to say just do regionals, or actually, no, I'm sorry. This is for management companies, not the actual contact itself. So if you instead wanted to, here, let me actually try something really quick. If I did no company, area supervisors of management groups that have at least 25 properties, if I search this, that's what this is going to return. And so this is quite a few lists, quite a large list. So there's 11,000. So this essentially sent me all regional managers across the nation where the company that they work for has at least 25 properties or less. So as you know, as expected, that's a large list. But if you wanted a list this large and then you wanted to filter it by city and state to just get where you're working, that's totally possible. So that's how searching contacts works. Um, a lot of times you might just want to do a specific company. So, say Lincoln, regionals for Lincoln. You can search this list and it'll be a much more manageable list. So, 135 here. And then you can just filter for what is in your territory. You can do these filters here, but you also have the option to just export this into Excel. And then you can work down that Excel list or put any filters on the Excel list that you want to put. So that's contacts. All right. Another one is properties. And this is the best way, in my opinion, to get property managers and regionals while also getting their unit counts and the actual property names of where they are located. So if I wanted to, you can either do all markets by default or you can pick a market. So I'm going to do Phoenix here. I want them to show me all properties that have at least 75 units, because keep in mind, we do have a minimum spend per month for a fetch property. So some of those smaller properties aren't going to be the best for us. I can also come in here and say, I only want to see either A properties or only B properties. Conversely, what you can do is say, hey, only show me the top 70 percentile. So this way, a lot of the affordable or D class properties, if you will, won't show up. We also can narrow this down even more by saying, hey, only show me properties that don't have Section 8 housing, aren't senior living, don't have student, and aren't military housing. So you can put in all these filters when you search by property, not by contact. And that's why whenever I suggest people, if they want to search targeted lists, this is the best way to do it, because you can take out people that you would not normally reach out to, because we don't sell senior as of now. Section 8, they can't really pass through cost. We don't do military housing, and we do student, but we have a specific team for students, so you might want to exclude that. And then same thing here. Like if you want to take out build for rent, you can easily do that here. And then you can just search. And then here you'll get all of those properties. So in the Phoenix market, 774 of them that fit our criteria are now here. And you can't see it here in this view, but when you click export to Excel, what that file is also going to give you is the property manager's name, their email address, and their phone number. It will also give you the regional manager's name, their email, and their phone number, which is useful because then when you're reaching out to them, you can actually reference the properties that they actually oversee. So there might be a regional that gets repeated over 4 of these properties. So if you wanted to make a custom email, you can say, hey, Rebecca, have you taken a look at Fetch and then list out the properties. And it gives you a little bit more info than searching at the contact level, because the contact level is solely going to give you their contact information. And those are some of the biggest, like contacts and properties are what you will utilize the most. Next is going to be management companies. So if you click on this, You can search all markets, or like I said, if you wanted to narrow it down, I'll go ahead and do Chicago. And maybe I only want to look at some of the more larger players that you can work a portfolio down. And so, like, let's maybe search management companies that oversee at least 7 properties. And so I can hit search here. All right. And now it's going to return me all of the management companies that oversee properties in the Chicagoland area that have over 7 properties. So you can see there's 135 of them. And then by default, it's going to sort on the number of properties that they have. So like Equity has 295, Kagan, Scion, so on and so forth. And then you can actually click into some of these. Like I'll click on Amly here. And then it's going to give you the org chart of how their branches work. So here we have their HQ, but then you can also see their other regional offices that they have and how many properties are out of each one. You can also see this on a Google Map view. And then down here, if you wanted to dive in and start to work that management group specifically, you have all of your contacts listed, you have your properties listed, and then same thing, you can either filter through here and call them, or you can export them to Excel. What's nice about ALN when you get to the contact and the property level is you can do things like see more detail. So Shannon here, Shannon Kavanaugh, she's a regional manager in Denver for Amway. So if I click on her account, I'm actually going to see her contact information, where she's out of, and then what properties is she regional over. And that's why I like the community export more, is because though ALN has this information about Shannon at her contact level, when you export that contact file, it's not going to give you the properties that she oversees. So you can search contacts and click on them to see more detail in ALN. That being said, if you search contacts and export them to Excel, it's not going to give you their specific property info. So just a little nuance fact there. And then, you're looking at Shannon here. You can also do this with any property as well in ALN. So if I click on a property name, it's then going to bring up that property's like record page. And so you can see here information about the regional, the management company, who the owner is. A lot of times you'll see that the owner has an LLC listed. That is because it is quite difficult for ALN and anyone in general to get the information on who the actual owner is, whether it's BlackRock, JP Morgan, Nuveen, Livcorp, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can also see other information over here, like what class does it fall in for that market? What's the average market rent? What is the average effective rent? Price per square foot, etc. And then just some more details about that property. This is general. You can also click on tabs that they have up here. So if you want to check out the amenities that they have, you can also check out the history of the property. So this has always been managed by Amly. It's a relatively new property, but then you can see when did the regional change, when did the on-site manager change, et cetera, et cetera. And then we can also see here, hey, they just started leasing this property in February of 2021. All right. So that's some of the detail that you get from ALN Compass. Another thing that I will point out here, under this report section, they do have quite few different reports that can be helpful, like market conditions. So if you wanted to look at your market specifically, so like if I wanted to look at Phoenix, it'll show me different trends, which are really, this is just really good information to you have for you to have in your back pocket when you're hopping on calls so you can talk with some substance about the market conditions. Um, Additionally, there's this all changes um, tab, which is somewhat like this management company activity tab, where it's going to let you know um, where takeovers or acquisitions are happening. So you have four tabs at the top. So this is essentially saying when has the manager changed? This next one is when has the area supervisor or the regional changed? The next is going to be when is the management company of a property changed? Um, and then so you have that, and then under here you have a sub tab of when are we filtering this by? So over the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, 14 days, etc. So if you come in here, you can say, hey, where has the management company changed in the last 7 days? And then if you want to filter this for your market, so once again, I'll do Phoenix going with this theme here. This shows me all of the communities in the Phoenix area that have changed management companies. It'll show me over here on the right who the previous manager was and now who the new current manager is. Um, so this can be helpful if you know some management companies are champions of Fetch and really like using our service. You can see if one property was now taken over by that group, it can be your cue to reach out to them. Maybe not immediately, but in the very near future, once things start to settle down. All right. So that's Compass for the most part. I would definitely suggest spending some time to get in here, play around, click on things, look at properties, etc. Um, Next, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover Vendor Edge really quick. So I'll log in here to Vendor Edge Plus. Now, like I said, it is market centric. So the first thing it's going to ask you to do is actually pick that market. So going with the theme here, I'm going to choose Phoenix. All of these other buttons or these tiles are pretty much the exact same as Compass. Vendor Edge Plus is Compass, just on a more market specific scale. What I like about Vendor Edge Plus a lot is not only does it let you search by the market, but it actually lets you put it in a geographic radius. So if I'm searching Phoenix and I'm trying to sell into a specific area, or we're trying to open up an expansion warehouse, or I just want to sell within the serviceable range that Fetch actually has, that makes a lot of sense. Um, I can actually use this button here where it says use button to select map to make a radius itself. So if I knew I just wanted to try to sell in this area here, which looks like Scottsdale to me, could be wrong there, but I'm going to say okay. It's then going to set that geolocation target for you. And then you can put in those other filters if you want. So, like, I don't want Section 8, I don't want senior, I don't want student, I don't want mixed use. Take out build for rent, and then search. And now it's going to limit the search results to just what is in that geographical area that you drew on the map. So I find that as a very useful feature that Vendor Edge Plus has that Compass does not have. And then same thing, it has an export button here at the top, or you can view these as a map. So just another useful thing that I wanted to point out about Vendor Edge Plus. I would say that's the only upside that I currently know about in Vendor Edge Plus. Some other things that you can get in Compass that may feel a little bit easier to get in Vendor Edge Plus is going to be market specific reports. So if I come here and I click new construction summary, it's actually going to give me pre-filtered for Phoenix for new construction. These are all of the statistics for the previous month that just ended. So I'm recording this in August. This is showing me July's data. So once again, just like Compass, I would come in here, take some time to mess around. But super useful tool. It has all of the information that you need to do your job and then some. So definitely take some time to become comfortable with it, as this will become something that you log into each and every day. So thanks for taking the time. As always, reach out to revenue operations if you run into any roadblocks or need any questions answered on how to do anything in particular. So take care, and I'll see you in the next video.